And now to one of the key issues we are covering this year, pedestrian safety. A man has died after he was hit by a vehicle in East Bakersfield tonight.
A teenager remains hospitalized tonight after being hit by a vehicle while riding his bike without a helmet.
A 48-year-old man was critically injured after being hit by a car in downtown Bakersfield.
By our count, this is the 19th pedestrian killed on Kern County roads so far this year.
We had another bad year with pedestrian crashes as well as bicycle crashes here in Kern County within the CHP jurisdiction. We all have to do our part. We all share the road. We've got pedestrian traffic out there. We've got cyclists riding their bikes, whether it be for exercise or just to commute to work. And then we also have our motor vehicle traffic. So everyone has to do their part. We all have to share the road. We all have our job to do. And if we all do our part, then we will definitely reduce the crashes involving pedestrians and bicyclists here in Kern County.
Alright, we're coming up to the stop sign, and what are we gonna do? We're gonna stop first, and now what are we doing? Where are we looking? Good, okay. You can teach your kids something, but if you emulate something else, they're gonna follow the example you set. So when teaching your kids bike safety, I would really encourage parents to also practice bike safety in every form for themselves. When you're riding your bike, even if it's just in the neighborhood, going to a grocery store, whatever it may be, it's always important to have that helmet on. And again, if the parents aren't wearing a helmet, the kids aren't going to see the need for wearing a helmet.
You want to teach your children to ride their bikes in the same manner that you would drive your automobile. Obeying all the stop signs, observing all the roadway laws as an automobile would.
Make sure they look for pedestrians in the crosswalk, they're aware of cars, and that they're communicating with cars, that they're riding in the neighborhood or somewhere on the street, that they have the same responsibility to understand the rules of the road.
What I think parents should emphasize is straight line control, so being able to ride in a controlled manner. We want to be able to get them to stop controlled and get off of their bikes and get back on their bikes and start again in a controlled manner. Maneuvers such as doing essentially a slalom course, so that when you're out there on the roadway and there's a piece of tire that your child's able to maneuver around them.
Also at night, it's always important to have a tail light and a headlight on your bike. Again, parents, that's something that we can start as adults with having it on our bikes and always having them on when we ride at nighttime. But just showing kids the basics of being safe and covering the bases really, and modeling what good behavior looks like is something that will really teach this next generation bike safety at a level that we can, but a lot of it will start in the household.
I like to ride my bike and walk with my friends when I'm out after school.
I ride my bike for transportation and to go on social rides mainly. When I'm riding my bike, I always wear a helmet because one, it's the law.
It helps to keep my head safe just in case if I get into an accident.
A lot of the time when people get hit, their helmets will crack, and that'll show you that there was a lot of impact on their head. So if that helmet wasn't there, their head would have gotten all of that.
When I'm riding my bike, I always ride on the right side of the road.
It's much easier to actually follow the rules of the road if you're on the right side of the road because of the fact that you are basically a very small car.
Whenever I ride my bike, I'm always aware of my surroundings, make sure I'm careful.
I don't listen to music when I'm riding my bike because it's very important to pay attention to your surroundings when you're riding your bike on the road.
If I'm going to cross the street or something, I put my phone away, I look both right and left.
It is very important to be predictable in using hand signals so drivers may know what you're doing.
Make sure that they know what you're about to do, signal just by making eye contact with people and making it obvious what you're going to do will just keep everyone a lot safer. At night, it's important to use headlights so that not only can you see where you're going, but other cars and other vehicles on the road can see you as well.
Wear light clothing so that people may see you, and also make it so that your bicycle is visible.
When you're riding by a parked car, give a few feet between you and the car.
Ride past it slowly, just in case if there's anyone trying to get in their car or getting out.
A lot of teenagers, when they're riding, think that some types of things that are for safety are lame. Being safe and not dying isn't lame, so do things that you can for safety and don't die.
I ride my bike because it's fun and it's good for me. It's good for me mentally and physically.
I just use it as a means of transportation to get to and from work or run errands.
If you're distracted, if you're on the phone, if you're listening to music, you're less likely to be paying attention to what's happening on the road, and a split second could be the difference between life or death.
So when I ride, I don't usually use my cell phone, or I check my text.
I think it's very important to be able to hear what's around you, see what's around you, keep your head on a swivel.
I act as if everybody's aiming for me, and so I stay out of their way.
I think helmet is very important. It protects my head.
A friend of mine, it saved his life. It would have killed him if he had not had a helmet. It cracked his helmet, it broke his neck. He was in a halo for months.
I ride predictably by staying within where drivers expect me to be. So that's the bike lane.
Follow the flow of the traffic, follow all stop signs and also just signs on the street. Make sure you can communicate too, which means eye contact and hand signals and such.
As many lights, reflective material as you can, especially at night. This is like as bright as a car light. It has a laser beam that actually makes 2 lanes around my bike.
You should be wearing bright clothing if you can. If you have something reflective, that'd be great too.
Roads are meant to be shared, and it's not really just subject to motor vehicles. It's great to be open-minded and share the road, and remember that it is a public space for everybody to use.
Motorists play a crucial role in the safety of our pedestrians and bicyclists in our local areas. First off, motorists must eliminate all distractions while driving their vehicles. Also pay attention to all speed limits in the area. Make sure that you drive at a speed that's safe for roadway conditions, and always be watchful of any pedestrian or bicycle traffic that's in the local areas, the local neighborhoods, our school zones, your parking lots. Also, never pass another vehicle that's stopped waiting for pedestrians to cross the roadway, and always allow yourself 3 feet distance between your vehicle and the bicyclist whenever passing a cyclist. In the state of California, all cyclists must obey the rules of the road, meaning that the cyclists will be out there on the roadways with all motorists. Therefore, it is our responsibility, as well as the responsibility of all cyclists, to share the road. When at an intersection, cyclists have the same right-of-way as another motorist would have, and must be treated as such in order to maintain the safety of all occupants on the roadway. All motorists must yield to any pedestrian occupying a crosswalk. Motorists, please pay extra attention and look for signs alerting you of an upcoming crosswalk. Motorists who are not paying attention, possibly driving distracted at a high rate of speed, or possibly even under the influence of alcohol and/or drugs, if they cause a crash with a pedestrian or a bicyclist, can face some pretty hefty charges. Remember, this is the safety of our community. We're all in this together. We must all do our part to share the road.
So a pedestrian can keep themselves safer on a roadway in a variety of different ways. Number one is be aware of what's going on around you. Pay attention to vehicular traffic. We frequently talk about drivers not texting and driving. Equally important for a pedestrian not to text and walk or talk on their phone and be distracted while they're walking. Pay attention to your surroundings. Pay attention to vehicular traffic around you. Cross intersections, at an intersection or in a crosswalk. Use traffic signal devices to your advantage. Cross when the light is green, and make eye contact with drivers as they're approaching that intersection to make sure that they see you and know what you're going to do, know that you're going to step out into the roadway. There are still several areas in Bakersfield that don't yet have sidewalks. When you're walking in those areas, walk against traffic so you can see that oncoming traffic. If you've consumed some type of alcoholic beverage, have somebody walk with you that hasn't been drinking so you can get to your destination safely. In dusk hours or nighttime hours, wear reflective clothing so headlights will light you up and people can see you. Drivers can readily see you and know that you're there.
If we all do our part here in Kern County, if we all share the road, if we all obey and do what we're supposed to do when we're out there on the streets, we can make this a safer community for everyone to live in. Motorists, do not drive distracted. Pay attention to the roadway. Minimize all your distractions when you're out there driving. Also, do not drive under the influence of alcohol and drugs. For cyclists, please obey the rules of the road. Do not ride on the wrong side of the street. Do not cross wherever you want to cross. Same thing goes for pedestrians. Make sure that when you cross the roadway, you cross at a marked crosswalk. And while you're crossing the street, make sure that you're paying attention. See and be seen. Also, remember, everyone has a responsibility to share the road.